Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. What is one value that our society holds near and dear? And we can only think of it as something that is good for all people. But in reality, it has a dark side and actually might be the reason why our society is deteriorating so much. What might that value be? Stick around to find out. In this conversation, Bishop Barron and Professor DC Schindler are talking about this value. It'll become very plain and obvious what that value is. So let's go.
Something jumped out at me from your book here because I've been thinking about this a lot. Why is safety such a prime value in our kind of wokest culture now? And talk about that a little bit because I've said to people before, if you're a Christian, what we have before our eyes all the time is the crucified Jesus. And I said, now whatever that religion's about, it's not putting a huge premium on safety,
Right.
whatever that is,
That's right.
or the lives of the saints. You never say, well, no, they were really dedicated to safety.
That's
these
right.
people. What is it about this liberal problem that would kind of conduce toward the valorization of safety?
That's a big question too. It's so interesting how any one of these questions you can unfold
Yeah.
and start to see the whole thing. But
Yeah.
the question of safety is a good way in. It seems to me that safety is one of those things that seems like a safe, universal value. Everybody
right.
can be. This is a good common denominator. We're all, insofar as we're all living beings, we're all concerned to continue our life. So safety is something we all have in common. But that the difficulty there obviously is it reinforces all of these habits of egocentricity, you might say, in
Yeah.
terms of our reconception of what the will is and what the intellect is and what a human being is. Safety plays into that. So it seems like it's something that nobody can get upset if we talk about safety, but in fact it's a subtle thing. Safety makes sense for a human being in a deeper context. Christians don't say, right, as you pointed out, our first concern is the safety
Right.
and well-being of our
Right.
parishioners. Although we heard some of that during the COVID times. That's not a Christian worldview,
No,
certainly.
it's the adventure of mission, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and right, the love of God. I mean, love is not safe,
Right.
and it's never been safe.
Right.
And the word safety doesn't occur to you when you're in love. That's
Yeah, and to your earlier point about like the truly beautiful is not safe; it's dangerous. The truly beautiful,
Yes.
because it breaks in.
right.
What's good on that? I think is Iris Murdoch, the Irish philosopher and novelist. That how the good has this quality of it arrests us. It's Balthazar too. I mean, it stops you in place and it rearranges you and then sends you on mission. So if safety is your thing, you're going to create a buffer around yourself
Yeah.
of protecting my choice all the time.
That's right.
And I won't let the truly beautiful in, right?
That's right. Yeah, no, think about that. So, I mean, her line I absolutely love.
Which
I
one?
always tell my students that this is one of those they need to put on the refrigerator. But love is the difficult realization that something other than oneself is real.
Yeah.
Is real.
That's Murdoch, yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
the res again.
Right.
The reality of something that because it's, insofar as I recognize it as real, that in itself is a recognition that I have a responsibility to adapt myself to it. I have to conform to it in a certain
Yeah.
sense. If safety is what is setting
Yeah.
the horizon, reality has to be reinterpreted, beauty has to be reinterpreted, all these fundamental human values have to be reinterpreted in a way that will fit. And I think that they end up being reinterpreted in ways that aren't really genuinely human.
Right.
The question becomes, why is that the case? I think the simplest way that I'm making sense of this in my brain is when we're trying to be safe, when we're trying to preserve ourselves, we are severing ourselves from the real world, from the people around us. In severing ourselves from other people, we then begin to see why this is such a big issue because now it's just a bunch of little autonomous individuals with their desires and their wants kind of smashing into each other all the time and creating all of this havoc and just chaos. You see, safety doesn't produce safety. Usually, safety produces the preservation of individuals over and against others, and it actually leads to chaos. And I think that that's one of the things that they're kind of getting at. Isn't it interesting, though? Like, I never would think, like, how having this constant mindset of trying to be safe, of trying to be secure, how that fundamentally tears away at a society, tears away at community. I think, as they were stating in the beginning, like, when we think about safety, we think about it as something that is a universal good that everybody wants. And of course, that is the case. But when we tether that to the fallen world that we find ourselves in, that doesn't normally look like peace, love, and harmony. It literally looks like atomic bombs or wars in order to preserve a certain set of people juxtaposed to another set of people, all done in the name of safety, of preservation, of survival, really. And so I guess the question is, how do you think about safety? How do we think about safety as a whole? Is it like the ultimate aim and goal? When you look at the Bible, as Bishop Barron is talking about, and he's been saying this a lot in more of his recent videos about this adventure on mission, how life as a Christian is something that is dangerous. It's something that is adventurous. And so that is what it's like to be a Christian. It calls you out of the self. There's that necessary connection to safety and being trapped in yourself, not being able to will the good of the other as other. Think about it. If you're all you're concerned about is preservation of yourself, will you ever will the good of the other as other? And so there is a sense in which safety, again, this isn't a perfect connection, but there is a sense in which safety is juxtaposed to love. Love gets outside of yourself. It's self-emptying. It transcends yourself. And I really like this idea of how it's really important to see the connection with reality, the real humans around you. I've been thinking a lot. So, as St. Thomas Aquinas says, love is to will the good of the other as other. And I think I've been thinking about it more in terms of love is to actually produce, it's literally to take goodness and make it exist. It's bringing goodness into existence. So think of, a couple getting together and creating a child. That is a beautiful, probably the most powerful expression of love. Love brings something good into existence. It brings fruit. It brings something of benefit into existence. It's not just happening in your head. It's not just happening in your affections, in your heart. It's actually producing something that which is not, and creating something and producing something that is. And you don't do that when you're safe. I mean, even think about people not getting married, not having kids, practicing, sorry, I probably shouldn't say this online, but safe sex. Well, is sex supposed to be safe? You see, you get the point. It's all about preservation of the ego and egocentricity and safety. Man, I just don't know if it's a really good thing. Again, I had never thought about this concept before, so I thought it was worth sharing here on this channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. How do you perceive safety? Is safety bad in the way that they're presenting it here? Yeah, just let me know. I would love to hear your comments. All right, that's all I have for this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Remember that Christianity is Christ, and without him, there is no Christianity. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.